Hey there guys, time to go ahead and try another one of these sort of random NHL 94 mods. So we'll go ahead and get this going here. As you can see, this is IIHF Legacy 20 edition or something like that. Anyway, so we'll just sort of see what happens here. We'll kind of play around with this a little bit and see what we got. So this is supposed to have a number of different teams in it. Yeah, you can see a whole bunch of different United States teams, Canada, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of teams here to choose from. And so what I think we're going to do here is we're going to do something like this. So we'll play against the Soviet team from 1980. Let's sort of see how this lasts. Auto control, leave off. And we'll do auto line changes and sort of see what happens here. So the last time that we did one of these modified versions of NHL 94, of course, we got to the end of the game, then everything sort of froze. So we'll see if we have any better luck here. So I haven't tried this before. This is just sort of like testing this out here to see sort of what happens, to see what it plays like and stuff like that. Again, this is one of the older mods that are out there. This is probably about 5 years old. So there's all sorts of things that, you know, have happened in the modding community since that's not really going to end up being reflected in this. That's just sort of the way it is. It's not necessarily a big problem. We'll just sort of mess around with it and see what we've got. Speaking of hockey, of course, not sure about you guys, I spent some time yesterday watching the Canada-Finland game, which was a lot of fun. It was amazing to see Canada tie it up in the last seconds and win it there at the very end. I was making lunch at the same time and scaring my pets by screaming out loud, so that's the way that one worked. I actually did not watch the United States game. I was thinking about tuning in, and then I saw... There you go, who was it? Gardner with the goal. I was thinking about watching the USA game against Slovakia, but by the time that I had a couple of minutes and could have tuned in, the United States was up 5-0, and I thought, yeah, that's probably not worth spending time on, so that's what happened. I was hoping yesterday to be able to do actually this, you know, this type of gameplay and stuff like that, and ended up not being able to do it. I spent a lot of time instead working on things like the long-form video that wound up going out yesterday. So still working on trying to get everything squared away and making sure that we have enough time for everything. That's just sort of the way that things are. It'd be nice if somebody wanted to pick up the puck. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, you should check out the video on NHLPA 93. I was trying to figure out, like, you know, what is it I can do for this? What can I do for this video to be a little bit more unique? And so I went with that angle of talking about the history of fighting in hockey, which was pretty interesting to do research on. It's one of the tricky things about this is when we're going through like the early NHL games that everybody knows are, you know, really good. It's going to be kind of tricky to come up with, you know, something to sort of make the video stand out a little bit. Otherwise, we can just put in like a whole bunch of gameplay and talk about how it's a great video, or a great video, how it's a great game. But there are a lot of videos out there that talk already about like the best of the series, and we want to make sure I want to make sure that I'm doing something that's a little bit unique, that at least will kind of make the channel stand out for hopefully for good reasons. Oh, so they got on with the interference call. I was about to say the insurance call. Oh, only a 1-minute penalty. I didn't know that was here in this game. So interesting stuff. They're calling it a junior play. Of course, yesterday the other video that I was doing was over on the basketball channel. I had a video. They're all 1-minute penalties. It's interesting. I wonder why they did that. Yeah, the other video I did was talking about the NES basketball games and which one's the worst. So there's a whole bunch of content like that that I'm going to come out with as well, probably on all of these channels, as we look into different ways that we can handle different video games, talk about stuff and all of that. If you're wondering why the emphasis on gaming, part of the reason why is because gaming stuff tends to do a lot better in terms of views. That's something I've discovered on every channel that I've done, actually. Gaming content tends to be a lot more engaging and tends to do a lot better than, you know, just for example, like a history video, a documentary, or whatever. Boy, man, I mean, the Soviets are just absolutely hammering this puck. They keep knocking it into the crowd. All right, here we go. Here we go with the attack. Anyway, though, there will be more historical content and stuff like that coming up. The thing is that before we get to the historical content, or to get to the historical content, I should say, we're probably going to have a lot of, you know, gameplay stuff and stuff like that. What I've noticed, those of you who follow a lot of my other stuff know this already, I've noticed that I tend to have a little bit more luck if I'm making videos that focus on, you know, gameplay and that are kind of engaging, that then have some historical content added to them. Mikhailov with an amazing shot from far away, so that does that. Now, I should tell you as well that there's no fighting in this version. This is before they came up with the fighting mod, of course, which is a very, very recent creation. It'd be nice to see something like this with fighting. What I'd really like to see, though, is just like, you know, the 87 Canada Cup. And there's Lemieux. Anyway, good stuff. Oh, that almost trickled in right behind the goalie. I'm not sure what he was trying to do with that. One of these days, I'm going to sort of jump into the modding scene of NHL 94, try to figure out what it is that people are doing, how it is that it works, and all that stuff. I mean, I presume that, like all these other games, they're probably using, you know, hex editor magic and stuff like that. What I don't know, and maybe some of you guys know this, is if there's like a specific tool that people are using or what exactly is going on. Of course, I know part of the cool thing about NHL 94 in general is that you have player photos that show up when you're doing like the preview screen. I think there are ways you can look at like photos and stuff in game. Yeah, nice cross check, huh? Injuring gets 2 minutes. So yeah, they did some kind of screwy things here with the penalties. Anyway, this is one of these modified ROM files that I think has mostly been ignored, because at least the thread that I got this from, I think the last post is literally from something like February 2020 or something like that. So it's been a little while. Looks like it's one of those kind of COVID projects that lasted for a while, and then you know, nobody paid much attention afterwards. So that's all right. We can go through a bunch of projects like these, and we'll try to give it a little bit more attention as we go along. There we go. I'm not sure what happened to their goalie. He went. He just decided to go off to the side. It looked like Moses parting the Red Sea there. So 3-1 now. All right, here we go. Well, it gives us a little 5-on-3, huh? Boy, Soviets pretty dirty play. The other thing is that the Soviets have been really good about hitting the puck up into the stratosphere. All right, here we go. Break away. Let's try this again. Anyway, so it's all good. I'm not even sure that I can necessarily say that I missed the fighting here. Not really a bad game even without fighting. Oh, get back, get back. I think we were very fortunate there not to give up a goal with that empty net. Alright, let's see how this goes. There you go. Four to 1, we're making short work of them. Alright, let's try it again, huh? I know we have automatic line changes on, but every time I turn that on, I get the feeling that we're not actually having line changes made. Seems like we always have the same guys out on the ice. I don't know if that's like a known issue with the game or something like that, but I haven't seen us do any line changes outside of face-offs. And you can't make a line change manually if you have it turned on to auto. So I just might go back to doing manual line changes in the future so we can give everybody some ice time. There we go. All right, that's all right. We get so see here now we've changed lines as we have Lemieux back out there. Oh, missed him. All right, here we go. All right, let's try it again. But yeah, you see this line has been out here for forever, for like 3 minutes now. All right, we'll try it again. Okay, here we go. Should be a pretty easy win for us here. So I'm not so sure about like the balance in this game and stuff like that, but and I should say in this version of this game. At least this one's felt a little bit easier than it probably should be. The Olympic one I liked the feel of. The only problem with that is that we ended up crashing the game somehow, so there's always that. I wanted you to pass to the other side. See if we can center it this time, huh? Well, maybe not. Alright, this will be the end right here. And there you go. We get a 4-1 victory. That's pretty simple. Grant Fuhr with 2 goals. That gets him the start of the game. Huh? Okay. I don't know what that was. That's really weird. And anyway, so there you have it. Well, apparently I'm not able to take a look at everything that's going on. Now, here we go. We can go. I just want to look at the team roster here. Of course, it's going to show me wrong team. Yeah, there we go. So everything does look pretty accurate for the most part. So anyway, good stuff. So there you go. That's this sort of old modified ROM with a whole bunch of weird things going on. So I'm gonna take some more time out and look around the community and see what other interesting and strange things I can find, and we'll feature it here on the channel. So it was good talking with you, and I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye bye.